Hello students, in today's lecture we are going to discuss about the torque acting on a rigid body. So we have to calculate the magnitude of torque that is acting on the rigid body. So for that purpose we have to consider an rigid body having the mass, suppose capital M, and it is rotating about an axis passing through the point O. So this is the axis of rotation about which the body is performing the rotational motion. So when the body is performing rotational motion, then its angular acceleration, it is given by, that is the alpha, and for the rotating body the angular acceleration, it is, that is the constant one. So we have to calculate the torque for this rotating body. But first of all, what is meant by the torque? So we know that the torque, it is nothing but the torque. By the definition we can say that torque, it is the ability of the force to produce rotational motion. The body is performing rotational motion. That means there is a force which is responsible for this rotational motion. So that force which is having the ability to produce the rotational motion, that is called the torque. So we know that when the forces are applied on the object or on the body, suppose this is the rod and this is the axis of rotation for this rod. We have to rotate this rod about this axis of rotation. Then we have to apply the forces on this rod. That means we have to apply the force at this point and the force at this point. So these are the forces which are acting on this rod that can produces the rotational motion. Why these two forces are responsible to produce the rotational motion? Because these are two forces which are acting at different positions and they are in opposite directions. So if we apply the same forces at different positions but in opposite directions, then we can observe here there is a formation of couple, and this couple it is responsible for the pure rotational motion. That means when you consider an object which is performing the rotational motion, then for that rotational motion such kind of forces are acting on that object. So this force now, it is having the ability to produce the rotational motion, and that ability of force to produce the rotational motion, that is called the torque. So torque, it is nothing but the ability of, that is the force to produce, that is rotational motion, that is called, that is the torque. Now what is the formula to calculate the torque? Torque, it is denoted by using the symbol, that is the tau, and in this case suppose this is the r, that is the perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation of, that is the force. So this is the r and this is r, that is the perpendicular distance from this force, this is the perpendicular distance from this force. Okay, now to determine the torque we can write like this: torque equals to F into, that is the r. That means we have to consider the one arm force and its perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. So we can consider this force or this force, one moment force or one arm force, and its perpendicular distance, this is the perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. So this is the formula, that is torque equals to F into r, to determine the torque. and we know that what is the SI unit for the torque. So by using this formula we know that SI unit for the torque, it is force, that is Newton, and distance, that is the meter. So Newton meter, it is the distance, it is the SI unit for the measurement of torque. And what is the CGS unit for the torque? CGS unit, that is dyne centimeter. It is the CGS unit for the measurement of torque. Okay. Now we have to determine the torque for this rotating rigid object or the rigid body. So for that purpose we have to consider the body consists of n number of particles. Suppose capital N, that is the number of particles within the body, and these particles are situated, suppose this is the first particle, it is situated at a distance of, that is r1 from the axis of rotation. Suppose this is the second particle which is at distance, that is suppose r2 from the axis of rotation. It is the third particle which is at a distance of, that is the r3 from the axis of rotation. So the body consists of n number of particles. Suppose this is the nth particle. So like this we can consider the n number of particles, and r1, r2, r3 up to rn, these are the perpendicular distances of these particles from the axis of rotations. Okay. Suppose F, it is the force acting on the first particle having the mass, suppose m1. Then F2, it is the force acting on the second particle having the mass m2. F3, it is the force acting on the third particle having the mass, that is the m3, and that is the Fn, it is the force acting on the nth particle having the mass, that is the mn. Okay. So by using this we can say that r1, r2, r3 up to, that is the rn, these are the perpendicular distances, these are the perpendicular distances of the particles from the axis of rotation. Then m1, m2, m3 up to mn, these are the masses of, that is the n number of particles, and that is f1, f2, f3 up to, that is the fn, these are the forces acting on the individual particles. But we have to calculate the torque acting on this rigid body. Then we have to calculate the torque acting on this particle, torque acting on this particle, torque acting on this. That means we have to calculate the torque acting on all the individual particles. Then we can sum that torque, and then we can determine the total torque acting on the body. Now we can determine the torque acting on the first particle. So the torque acting on, that is the first particle having the mass m1 and perpendicular distance r1 from the axis of rotation, and that is given by, that is torque for the first particle, that is τ1 equals to f1 into, that is the r1. But we know that the linear force acting on the particle, it is given by the relation, but we know that the magnitude of force, it is given by m into a, that is mass into acceleration. So all the particles are performing the circular motions about these circles. Suppose the first particle, it is having the linear acceleration, that is the a1, second particle, that is having the linear acceleration a2, then third particle having the linear acceleration a3 up to, that is the an. Okay. So F equals to m into a, and linear acceleration, it is given by the relation, that is, what is the relation for the linear acceleration? That is r into, that is the alpha. This is the relation for the linear acceleration, that is a equals to r into alpha. Now the force is given by, suppose F equals to m into a, it is nothing but the r into alpha, therefore F equals to m into r alpha, On substituting the value of linear acceleration in this place, we get the magnitude of force, that is F equals to m into r into alpha. And now therefore that is the torque acting on the first particle, that is given by, so F1 equals to, that will be, we will get, that is m1 r1, that is the alpha. Alpha, it is the constant angular acceleration for this body. Angular acceleration, it is acting along the axis of rotation. So m1 r1 alpha for the first particle, and this r1, that is the as it is, and therefore torque equals to, torque acting on the first particle, it is finally it is given by the relation m1 r1 into r1, that is the r1 square into the alpha. So this is the equation number first. Similarly, the torque acting on the second particle, that is torque equals to T2 equals to m2 r2 square alpha. Torque acting on the third particle, that is torque acting on the third particle equals to m3 r3 square into alpha. So we will get these equations. And for the nth particle, that is the torque acting on the nth particle, this particle, that is given by mn rn square into, that is the alpha. So this is the magnitude of torque acting on all these individual particles, and all these particles together they constitute the torque acting on the total body. Now we have to calculate the torque acting on the rigid body. So the torque, or we can say that the total torque acting on, that is the given rigid body, and that is torque equals to T1 plus T2 plus T3 plus up to, that is the Tn. So on substituting the values of T1, T2, T3 and up to Tn in this equation, that we will get torque acting on the rigid body, that is T1 m1 r1 square alpha plus m2 r2 square alpha plus that is m3 r3 square alpha plus up to, that is the mn rn square, that is alpha. Now we will get, that is torque equals to m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square plus m3 r3 square plus up to mn rn square, and here alpha, that is the common factor. So on taking this alpha, that is the common one, we will get, that is m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square plus m3 r3 square plus up to, that is the mn rn square in the bracket, and alpha, it is the common one. Okay. Now we know that m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square plus m3 r3 square up to, that is the nth number of particles. This is the product of mass of, that is the particle, and its square of its perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. So if we add all the masses and the square of perpendicular distance for all the particles, and it is nothing but the moment of inertia of that body. That means we know that, but this m1 r1 square plus, so that means this, the magnitude or the quantities inside the bracket that represents, that is I equals to summation of m I r I square limits from I equals to 1 up to, that is the n. And finally that means we get torque equals to I into alpha, and this is the equation. Suppose this is the equation number 5th, then it will be the equation number 6th, that gives, that is torque equals to I into alpha. So I, it is nothing but the moment of inertia of that body, and alpha, it is the angular acceleration. So this equation that gives the torque acting on the rotating object or the rotating body. So by using the formula, that is torque equals to I into alpha, we can represent the dimensions for torque also. So what are the dimensions? So dimensions, moment of inertia, that is, what is the SI unit for the moment of inertia? That is kilogram meter square. So kilogram meter square It is the SI unit for the moment of inertia. And what about the angular acceleration? That is a radian per, that is the second square. That is the SI unit for the angular acceleration. So by using this, we can write down the dimensions for angular acceleration. So the dimensions for angular acceleration, that is 2 in square bracket equals to, in case of m, l and t, we can represent the dimensions. So kilogram, that means 1 in mass. So 1 in mass, that is meter square, that means the length, that represents the length. So 2 in length. Then radian, we know that radian, it is the unitless dimensionless quantity, that is the radian. And second square, that means -2. So -2 in time. So m1, l2, t minus 2, these are the dimensions for, that is the torque. So it is all about, that is the torque acting on the rigid body.